future. All right. Let's shift gears here, Tim. I want to talk just a little bit about this Philadelphia Eagles matchup, and then we'll jump into chalk talk. So here's what I wanted to hit on, guys. Everybody's treating this Philly game like the Packers are just going to get boat raced, right? Just like everybody was treating the Panthers game like the Packers were going to boat race the Panthers. This is the National Football League, man. It's all about matchups. It's about how does this team match up against this team? How do their Tuesday players match up against how you're going to defend or block their Tuesday players, right? And just on the surface, I thought before we get into the game plan later on in the week, why don't we dive into just some very surface level stuff? Let's talk about rankings, okay? So coming into this game, this is the first look at the Packers versus the Eagles. Let's start on offense. Scoring offense, points per play, the Philadelphia Eagles rank 6th. The Green Bay Packers rank 10th. So you're talking about two top 10 offenses in scoring, right? In the running game, you got the Philadelphia Eagles ranking 20th, which is really, really odd. Now, last week they put it together, if you'll remember, right? They had a very, very good game running the football. I'm going to pull off to the side here real quick and just see, because I want to see how many yards they averaged per attempt last week. So Philadelphia, on the season, Tim, they're 20th at 4.1 yards per rush. Last week they were 5.2 yards per rush. And I'm sorry, that was the last three. The last game, they averaged 8.4 yards per rush. So I know Green Bay has a much better defense, and obviously the team a run defense than the team that they played last week. I don't even care who it is because Green Bay's ranking top 3, pretty much all year. But essentially in the running game, Tim, Philly has the slight edge ranking 20th and Green Bay sitting at 23rd. And I don't know if this is the week that you're going to try to really press in and get the run game going. To me, as we get into the defensive side here in a minute, we'll talk about it. I think passing the ball is probably your best bet in trying to jump out to an early lead against Philly. But what do you think about our rushing game against their rushing game? I know they're not going to be on the same field at the same time, but I like to kind of look at the running game comparison. It's pretty neck and neck there, 20th and 23rd.
It sure is, and I'm trying not to get ahead of us and ahead of myself by looking down at our rushing defense against their rushing offense, because that's really where you want to draw the comparisons. But I think there's some truth in what you're saying, is that it's a game to sit here and try to force the issue with the run. Maybe you pass to open up the run against Philly. Just that initial breakdown here, but it is interesting to see how truly closely matched up these two teams really are when you kind of look at these metrics.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to try to get the background music going. It cuts you out just now, but I'm going to try it, and you tell me, let me know if it cuts me out, Tim, because I'm going to just give a little bit of something in the background for everybody as we go through this information. So, passing game. All right. Green Bay is ranked 3rd in yards per pass attempt. The Philadelphia Eagles are 7th. So I know many people like to look at Jalen Hurts like he's just kind of a gimmick quarterback. He can't throw the football far. Could be the farthest thing from the truth, man. Philly ranked 7th. Green Bay ranked 3rd. And again, that's why we were very vocal during the week when people were trying to rate Matt LaFleur over the coals like he's not a good play caller. He's not a good play designer. Like, you're a top 3 passing offense in yards per pass attempt. If the argument is I want him to pass the ball more, okay, cool. That can always be an argument, obviously. Me personally, I would rather you continue to try to get the run game going. And then I think that's why the passing game has been so effective, is because teams are really keying in on stopping the Packers run. They're loading the box against Josh Jacobs. That's why you're 23rd in rushing. But I think it has a lot to do with why Green Bay is 3rd in passing. So in terms of our offense passing game against their offensive passing game, Tim, we're 3rd, they're 7th. This you're already noticing this looked like this might be a tight game here, man.
Oh yeah, I think we're in for a nail biter. I really do. Monday Night Football under the lights. It's going to be crisp and chilly. You got two teams, really fighting for those, to remain on top in the NFC, evenly matched up. I mean, pretty close within most of these categories. This will definitely be any given Sunday, aka any given Monday type of game. I don't think we're going to see a boat race in either direction.
Right.
I don't know what we'll get into the numbers later, but I want to say less than a touchdown decides this game probably.
I could see that. I mean, that's what was last time too, if I remember correctly. Not in the playoffs, but down there in Brazil. And the Packers, I feel like, are much healthier outside of Tucker Kraft, obviously missing the next game, than they were in the playoff game. A lot more banged up. You didn't have Christian Watson, and so on and so forth. So So essentially, what you got, guys, again, just a recap on offense. Scoring wise, Philadelphia ranked 6th, Green Bay 10th. Rushing wise, the Eagles ranked 20th, the Packers ranked 23rd. And then passing, the Packers ranked 3rd, Philadelphia Eagles ranked 7th. All right, so let's move along now to defense. So what we've got here is scoring defense. All right, this is points per play. Green Bay is 8th in the league. Philadelphia is 14th. All right, rushing defense. The Packers have the 9th best run defense now. Philadelphia has the 19th best run defense. So Green Bay has now sank to 9th out of that top 3 spot, but still a legit top 10 run defense. And then in passing defense, yards per pass attempt, the Packers are 1st. Philadelphia is 12th. So what you see here on defense, Tim, it doesn't mean it's gonna happen on Monday night. There's no guarantees, but in terms of where we're at going into Week 9, the Packers have the better defense in all three aspects: scoring, rushing, and passing the football, or stopping the pass, I should say.
Yeah, so there's every reason to believe we have every opportunity and chance to beat Philly. You know, we can talk about how this team looked against Carolina. We're gonna break down some tape here in a little bit. But if you are nervous or afraid or scared of the Eagles coming in at 1265, I beg you to watch some tape and look at these two teams. I think you're going to see a slugfest in this one. Very, very evenly matched. Going to be a close game for sure.
Yeah, and then of course turnover margin is probably the most important aspect. You guys know how I feel about this. Turnover margin is simply how many times do you take the ball away as opposed to give the ball away, right? So, you're coming out in the positive in terms of, a +1 turnover margin means maybe you turned the ball over once, they turned it over twice, right? You took the ball away from them twice, they only took it away from you once. So you're getting that extra possession. It's absolutely huge in deciding the game. Philadelphia is 8th in turnover margin. The Packers are 14th. So they have the edge there, which is the most important metric, I think, outside of scoring. So if you take the two most important ones there, Tim, in scoring, Philadelphia 6th, the Packers 10th. In turnover margin, the Philadelphia Eagles 8th, the Packers 14th. That would, if I was creating the point spread, what am I trying to say here? The odds in the game, I would definitely have the Philadelphia Eagles as favorites by default. And then, of course, you go into Lambeau Field and give them 1.5 to 3 points favorites to the home team. So let's say, you got it set at Philly or 4-point favorites, right? Well, it's being played in Green Bay, so you probably set the line at 1 or 1.5, if that makes sense. So that's how that lines up. Now, when you take everything into consideration, what we gave you guys were 7 rankings: offensive scoring, rushing, and passing, defensive scoring, rushing, and passing, and turnover margin. The Packers have 4 of those that they're leading in. The Philadelphia Eagles are leading in 3. With worth mentioning, the two most important metrics of offensive scoring and turnover margin both go to Philly's side. So this, I think, is going to be a hell of a ball game. And I'm really excited to see, are the Packers a great team or are they just a good team? A good team, you go make the playoffs, you can get hot, go on a run and potentially win the whole thing, right? Yep. Great team, you're going to look to try to pull away a little bit. And this remaining schedule, it gets tough, man. We're going to find out a lot about this Green Bay team in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, starting on Monday night, right? It's going to be a really good test here, and we're really going to know a lot more about this Packers team and who they are. And I'm hoping that they are who I think they are and who I believe they are. And they're going to handle business. Coach Len was saying in the chat, I mean, it's pretty much a must-win. It could prove to be one of those must-win games when you look at the NFC playoff picture. Going down towards, week 16, 17, 18 towards the end of the year. So, dropping that game at Carolina really stunk. But, if you can get back on track with a win against the Eagles at home, I think we're feeling pretty damn good about our chances this year.
Yeah. As Joseph says in the chat, in my opinion, we are a good team. That's where I'm at right now, too, Joseph. I think we're a good team, potentially stepping into being a great team, right? And if you beat the Eagles on Monday night and you do it in, pretty decent fashion, I feel really comfortable saying, no, the Packers are a great team. Well, we got Emilio joining us now. Emilio, just a quick recap. All we did was talked about the rankings a little bit, just a little preview of this Philadelphia matchup. I mean, just give you the rundown. Scoring, offense, Packers are 10th in the league, Philly's 6th. Running the ball, Philly's 20th, the Packers are 23rd. Passing the ball, Green Bay's 3rd, Philadelphia's 7th. Defensive scoring, Green Bay's 8th, Philadelphia's 14th. Rushing defense, Green Bay's 9th, Philadelphia's 19th. Passing defense, Green Bay's 1st, Philadelphia's 12th. They're 8th in turnover margin, and Green Bay's 14th in turnover margin. So essentially, Green Bay's got the edge 4-3 in these important categories. However, the two most important, like I was just telling Tim, turnover margin, Philly's better, scoring, Philly's better. So pretty healthy ball game, man. How do you see this game here with the Eagles right off the bat?
Yeah, turnover there would be key, right? Whatever you whatever you do, you got to protect the rock. You got to be able to punch it in. I'd love to see red zone efficiency too. Maybe we can dive into that in the game plan just to take a peek. Yes. That's where we stalled out this past week. Is that something that's a factor? Normally, I don't think so, but I do think it's something you got to keep in mind. Yeah, it's going to be a battle. I was hearing Tim, one-score game for sure. And one of my best friends is an Eagles fan, so it's going to be a tough one. We'll be going at it a little bit pre-game.
That's right here. Not to cut you off, but this is the statistic is NFL team red zone scoring percentage. Touchdowns only, okay? Touchdowns only. Philadelphia leads the league at 85%. Green Bay is 11th at 62%.
That's just another, make that 4-4. So this is going to be a battle. It really is. And you're getting a little bit from Micah, who's seen them regularly. He knows what to expect from them. Maybe that helps on the D-line, cool. But it's also the boogeyman that got us twice last year. And it's something that, like you said, is going to tell the tale of what this team is, where they can go. But I was listening to Unscripted, and I think it was Wes saying it. He was just like, yeah, so you played Carolina, okay, but Tuesday, Monday came around, you have to pay attention to the Eagles. You play the Eagles on Monday. What the most important thing moving on after that Eagles game, no matter what happens, win, loss, draw, whatever, is the Giants that next week. Like there's no stopping. It's not like you can pause time and just be yelling, just sit there and just yell at your screen because you're not happy. It's you got to keep moving. There's only so much time in a year. There's only so much time in the football season. And they got to make the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Mike Berry says the point spread is Green Bay -2.5. The over is 44.5. And it looks like PFF has the same thing listed as the market number there. So the Packers are 2.5-point favorites at home. It is worth mentioning it's very, very early. But right now, in terms of the spread, 90% of the money is on the Eagles plus 2.5. And then 89% of the money is on the Eagles to win outright with the money line. So the Packers, the majority of the public's money is actually on the Eagles, both in the spread and the money line. That makes me feel good personally. And I always like it when the public is going against my team because typically, you hear it every week just about it. You look up at the end of the year, Vegas typically wins out, right? That's usually how it works. So one last thing before we dive into Chalk Talk. This is just a quick playoff probability, if you will. This was a tweet that was put out by PFF, and every site's a little bit different. This is the NFC playoff picture entering Week 10. The number 1 seed, 94% chance that the Eagles make the playoffs. The number 2 seed is the Buccaneers, 88% chance. Number 3 seed is the Seahawks with a 78% chance. Number 4 seed is your Green Bay Packers with a 79% chance of making the playoffs. The number 7 seed is the Lions at 69%. The number 6 seed is the 49ers at 85%, and the 5 seed is the Rams at 84%. So it's really, really interesting to see that the Packers 79%. Of course, they're in the lead right now. The Lions are sitting at 69%. So the Packers have a 10% higher chance of making the playoffs than the Lions. These NFC North matchups coming down the stretch is really what's going to decide this thing. It's absolutely awesome.
Yep. The scheduling committee knew what the hell they were doing when they set this one up, for sure.
They sure did, man. That's a fact. So, again, there
how expensive this game is in the look of, all right, yeah, you get one up on the Eagles. You already got one up on the 7th seed. You could get one up on the 1st seed. How important? Yeah, we lost to an NFC team. Okay, the other one was the Browns. All right, that was an AFC team. So it's like, are you happier? Would you be more upset if it was the Vikings that beat you? In the NFC North division opponent, like what happened to the Lions, or are we more upset outside of the division, one AFC, one NFC, and you have a shot to try to get yourself one up on the leader there?
Yeah, and for me, I always look at it this time of year. I just want to stamp a ticket to the dance. That's all I want.
Yep.
Give yourself an opportunity to win a championship. You know, I try not to get too caught up in, man, I want to be the number 1 seed, or we need to do this. You want to, every game matters. Obviously, it sucks that you dropped a couple games you probably should have won, because you could really be in the driver's seat right now. But that's the National Football League, man. It happens, you know? So, all right. So there you go. There is just a little, like I said, a slight preview into Packers Eagles. So let us know if you're watching this video back later. Let us know in the comments what you think. Do you think that point spread is pretty fair? Just the Packers being 2.5-point favorites at home against the Eagles. How do you feel about the rankings? Do you think that those are pretty indicative of telling the story of how these two teams have played this year? Let us know in the comments. Hit subscribe. Click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Emilio, is there anything you want to hit? I think Tim